all, I'm on here today to show you how to make homemade enchiladas. Okay, so I'm going to give you the ingredients that I have. Some things I normally wouldn't buy, but because of the pandemic and the shortage of things, I had to get what was available. So the first thing we have here is ground beef. I would normally use the lean ground beef. I have enchilada sauce. I have two different kinds because I realized that this El Paso is extremely hot, so I'm just gonna mix them to make it a little bit mild. I have a can of chili with no beans. I have my veggies. Because of the pandemic, I get veggies and I'll just slice them up, cut them up, dice them up, and I freeze them to make it easier on me to when I'm cooking. And bell pepper, cheese, which is bought from over there. I have the provolone cheese. I also have a shredded provolone cheese as well. And that's about it. I would normally use shredded Velveeta cheese, but instead I'm going to cut these in thin slices and we will use that. Okay, so let's get started. First thing first, we're going to cut and slice all the veggies. Okay, so now I have all my veggies cut. I have my celery, bell pepper, I diced some of the cheese, and now we're going to start cooking the veggies. So I'm going to go ahead and preheat the skillet, and I just turned it on 400. I turned it on 350 now. We're going to go ahead and preheat the skillet, and with the skillet preheating, it shouldn't take long. I just gonna use just a little bit of avocado oil, only because I want to soften up my veggies. So normally I wouldn't put celery sticks in it, but because of the things that's going on, celery sticks are like a booster for your body immune system. So I want my kids to get veggies and stuff like that into their system, and enchiladas is really not a healthy meal. So I'm just gonna put like a tablespoon of that in there. Then I'm gonna use this whole thing because it's gonna be I'm gonna at least make 10 or 15 enchiladas. It's only me and my kids here, so I'm not cooking for a lot of people. But I'm gonna let those brown in or soften, and then once I get that done, I'll come back on. Okay, I didn't have to let the celery cook for a very long time, only because I'm going to put it in with this ground meat. And this ground meat makes oil because of it's only 73% lean, so it's a lot of fat in that ground meat. So it's going to help soften these celery sticks as well, well, these celery pieces. But I'm going to mix in the other ingredients. So I'll do the bell pepper and I had I'm gonna do the frozen onions. So these little bags, whatever veggies I have left over, like these bell peppers I may not use, I'm gonna just put them in one of these bags to freeze them. And then it's just a portion bag that I bought from Dollar Tree, and I'll freeze them, and then that way whenever I get ready to cook again, I will already have the veggies frozen, and I can just go to them, and I don't have to cut them up. So with the extra celery and stuff like that I had, that's what I did. And I'm just getting the extra veggies. These are some actual frozen veggies that I buy at the store. I'm just using the remainder of those as well. It wasn't much left in that package, but that's fine. I'm just trying to put some veggies inside the meal because I don't want it to be with no health value to it at all. So let's put a little health to it. Okay, and then I'm also going to use a little minced garlic. I don't measure anything. I kind of go with the flow, but I'm just going to use a tablespoon only because I don't want it to be overpowering for the kids. So this is just going to be the base of the meal. I'm going to let it cook a little bit more just to soften up the veggies. And as you can see, that's how they look, and they getting soft pretty fast. Now that I mixed everything in. Okay, so next step is going to be ground meat. Okay, y'all, so the roll that I purchased was pretty big, is pretty big. And like I said, I'm only cooking this for me and my 2 children. So I'm not going to use the entire roll. I'm just going to probably put half of it in there. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and cook the other half of the roll and season it well or whatever. And then I'll probably end up freezing the meat that I cooked for maybe tomorrow. If yeah, so I'll freeze it for a meal for tomorrow. So I will end up probably doing something with that. I don't know what I'll end up making with. Maybe a quick meal like hamburger helper or something like that. So, but this going ahead and cooking food, like if you have bulks of it, because I've been lately buying bulks of food only because I don't like getting out. I'm not gonna even lie, I don't like getting out during this time. I try to just like stay at home, so I got my deep freezer full, and I make when I'm cooking, I make, if I'm missing something, I'll just have to make substitutions for it. Just like I'm putting the Velveeta cheese, block cheese in there. I normally would use the shredded cheese, but because I'm not going to the store just for shredded cheese. When I get out and do store runs, I have to be able to get out and do like multiple things, like a whole bunch of stuff. So, or get a lot of stuff from the one place. That's what I try to do. So if I go to Walmart or Target, I try to get like a handful of things at one time. Y'all, those veggies, they're gonna make this taste very good. It helps enhance the flavor of your food. Once I get this all browning, I will come back and let y'all see the next step. So this is what it's looking like. It's not completely brown yet, but it's getting there. And normally at this stage, I would stop cooking just to drain the oils, the grease off the meat. However, as you can see, this one didn't make a lot of grease, so I'm gonna still drain it, drain what I can off. I don't know if y'all can see. Let me take out this. It didn't make a lot, but it made enough for me to want to drain it. Like I said, I normally buy meat that doesn't have a lot of oil or fat grease in it. So I'm going to take that out, even though the food that I'm making, like I said, is fattening. But I just want to remove all the additional oils that I don't need. So once I do that, I will be back. Okay, now that the oil is removed, I'm going to let it continue to cook. It's going to cook a little faster and brown a little faster just because of the oil is gone. So this is how much oil I pulled out or got out. And I know some people use strainers. I don't use strainers because, as you can see how fine my ground meat is, a lot of times my ground meat gets stuck in the strainer, so I don't like that. So what I do is I like using this crock pot, and I just put the lid on top of it. And this particular one has a little spout where you can pour, and I just pour it out like that. I just unplug it and pour it out. Makes it much easier for me. It gets the job done, and I don't mind doing it that way. So now we're just going to let this brown in just a little bit more. And once it's finished browning, I have already opened up my canned chili, and I opened up the enchilada sauce already. Before I open them, I always make sure I wipe the top of my cans off with my little detergent that I always add bleach to. I add bleach to my detergent. Even if it say bleach, I still just add a little bit. Especially now, probably add a little bit more, especially now. So, I just wash the cans off, the tops off real good before I actually use them. I'm just real cautious. Okay, so I think this has cooked long enough. It's browning. It's brown. And now we're just gonna and this is a big can of chili, so I may or may not use it all. Mostly, I'm not gonna use it all. So I'm just gonna pour some in there. I probably could have used the small one, but this is fine. And then I'm just gonna mix it in with the mixture that I already have. And just mix it in good. So you see how it's mixed up. If you want to, you can add a little bit more. I'm just going to add a tad bit more only because it's a little dry. So just a tad, not a lot. Because I don't need no heartburn. Okay. Now while that's cooking, or it's actually done, okay, anytime I'm actually going to touch the food, I always like to wash my hand. So while this is kind of like done already, because I don't have the shredded cheese, I do want it to kind of be a little cheesy. I just cut up some little pieces that I'm just going to drop in here. Some extra pieces. I cut up the little ones to go on. Okay, the cheese is melted. So now I'm going to start. This is going to be the insert, and then these are the flour tortillas that I'm going to use. So I'm going to take them out, and I'm just going to start stuffing them and putting them on my pan. Okay, I'm just going to show you all how I wrap them. So I just take the tortilla, and normally I would have some cheese. I will put the cheese in, but since I don't have the shredded cheese, I just take the tortilla, put it in, and I just tuck them, wrap them, nothing perfect. And then I sit them in this little dish pan that I got, because I'm going to put it in the new way to cook. What I'll do, take the cheese. You can either fold it in half or break it in half. Put it in the middle of that. Yeah, that's what I do, use that cheese. Put your stuff in the inside and keep going, and then you're just gonna keep doing the same method until you have as many as you want, or until all your insides are gone. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish, and then I'll be back. Okay, so now I have all the enchiladas wrapped. Okay, so yeah, my camera was acting up, so I went on ahead and put the enchilada sauce on it. I only use one can, but however, if somebody say it's dry or they want more, I have the other can. It's already open, it's hot, so I didn't really want to put it on there. I put one layer of cheese, or maybe like 8 pieces of this cheese on there. I put the rest of the stuffing on top, and then I also added like just a little sprinkle of the mozzarella and provolone cheese mixed together on top of that. And now I'm going to put it in the new wave. You can use your oven for about 15 to 20 minutes to let it go ahead and cook all the way through, and then I'll show you the finished product. Okay, y'all, so this is the final product right here. Okay, here's my plating. We all eat a little different, so that's why they all look different. My daughter may end up putting some picante sauce on hers, or some salsa, and but here you go. These are homemade enchiladas, Texas style. like, subscribe, and comment down below if you don't like what you see or if you like what you see. Thanks. Bye.